Yes, big two is a writing. Yes, it's a writing. Then taking into account to the situation of integrations. Yes, here is the writing. You are a teacher in a high school where students are preparing for a global summit on climate change. Then you are a teacher in a high school where students are preparing for a global summit on climate change. You are tasked with helping them understand the consequences of climate change and how individuals, communities, and governments can respond to it. What would be the key point you would emphasize in your lesson? And how will you engage students in discussions about their role in combating climate change? Your writing must not be more than 150 words. Use correct grammar and appropriate vocabulary. Then here are the proposal of ideas that can help you then develop your writing. So, has its the points well that you must use in order to emphasize, on how you would engage students in a discussion about the role of combating climate change. First, you have to point out the causes of climate change, and among the causes we have that human activities, then causes related to human activities, then with the use of fossil fuel, yes, and industries, and factories, then which can contribute to climate change, and also natural factors. And number two, then you have to point out the consequences of climate change. And among the consequences, we have environmental, impact. As we know well that the climate change can contribute to the loss of the biodiversity. Then, this is an example. So then, to illustrate also here has environmental impact, and also in the human impact. Here it can provoke disease. Then it has also the health problems then to human beings. That's why we talk about the human impact. The climate change then can provoke disease, then risk of disease or risk of health problem to human being. Then hence the idea of human impact. And after dealing with the consequences of climate change, we can also propose the solutions, then or strategies, in order to reduce or stop, the climate change. And among these solutions, then you can point out the individual action, meaning that everybody must, do his best or her best in order to mitigate or to reduce the climate change by his actions, Then after, then we have the community and government action. Then here, meaning that the community and the government must adopt some strategies in order to help reduce the climate change. Then, and among these strategies, the government can sensitize the populations on the danger of climate change, and also the government can, punish those who will refuse, for example, the government measures which permit to reduce, the climate change. Then you have to, take measures, and you have to control the the application of this measure. And those who refuse the application of this measure then must be punished. Then and this punishment, it depends. Then it can be in prisons, then put them in jail, or it can be, taxes that you can, impose to them. Then this will maybe make them respect the measures which can contribute to the climate change mitigations, And also the international agreement. Well, because we have to adopt the idea of international agreement, because we know that a country cannot pollute or change the climate alone. Then many countries, especially the industrial countries, they contribute to the climate change. Then we have to sign international agreements. Yes, among the different countries, they must do international conferences or meetings in order to sign agreements, then which permits the mitigation or then which can permit to reduce the climate change. Then these are some ideas that can be used for the writing, and it is at the same time the end of the lesson of on climate change. Okay, thank you very much for attending the class, and see you next time for another session. Goodbye.